Tyco Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Dennis Kozlowski is in the hot seat. Shares of his company hit the skids today on news of an SEC probe. Good evening, I'm Paul Kangas.
And I'm Susie Garib. A topsy-turvy but upbeat day on Wall Street. The Dow gained 66 points and the Nasdaq is back in the record books with a new high. Then the website is called Cozone.com, but it's known as CompUSA in the world of bricks and mortar stores. We'll find out the story behind the double identity from the company's top marketing man.
Nightly Business Report is brought to you by Compaq, makers of compact non-stop e-business solutions for companies who know that the online world never stops, so their information systems can't stop either. Franklin Templeton, serving investors for over 50 years. Franklin Templeton and Mutual Series, investment products distributed by investment professionals. The financial consultants of A.G. Edwards, committed to making investors comfortable with their investments, with their futures. A.G. Edwards, be comfortable. And is produced in association with Bridge, the global financial information company, providing real-time and historical market data, analysis, and news.
Good evening, everyone. Wall Street got an early glimpse of the Santa Claus rally. The Dow jumped 66 points today, and the Nasdaq hit another record and is just points away from the 3,600 milestone. But Tyco International missed out on the festivities. The stock got slammed today on word that the Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating its accounting practices. Tyco plunged more than 8 points, or 24%, to a 52-week low. Darren Gersh reports.
Tyco's troubles are now the subject of an official investigation. The company says the Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating charges and reserves the company has taken in connection with its acquisitions. In a statement today, Tyco CEO Dennis Kozlowski said, "In light of the recent market activity in our stock, which is not justified by any development at the company, we welcome the opportunity to respond to this request. We remain confident in our accounting methodology, our public disclosure, and the continuing strength of our business." But investors were unconvinced. Almost 115 million Tyco shares traded hands today, the fifth largest trading day on record for a single stock. And when it was done, Tyco's stock had plunged 24%. Since its accounting was first called into question in October, Tyco's market capitalization has been cut almost in half. $43 billion in market capitalization has simply evaporated. Howard Schillett examines corporate accounting practices for pension funds and other institutional investors. Schillett says even before the accounting issues arose, his clients were increasingly concerned Tyco's aggressive expansion strategy was forcing it to make larger and more risky acquisitions.
You start buying companies that have warts, that have problems, and that is the bigger concern I have at this stage with Tyco. Not that their accounting may be aggressive, which it probably is.
But other investors credited Tyco's openness in voluntarily disclosing the SEC investigation. Value investor Philip Tascio bought 87,000 Tyco shares today. He says the company's business prospects haven't changed, and other investors are prematurely lumping Tyco with other accounting frauds at McKesson and Cendant.
When you have a concern like that, investors tend to paint everybody with the same brush. It's like they ask questions later after they've already shot these companies.
On December 13th, Tyco will release its annual filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Some analysts hope the company will provide information that could help clear the cloud of suspicion surrounding the stock. Darren Gersh, Nightly Business Report, Washington.
Stocks on Wall Street opened with a rollicking rally today following 3 days of consolidation, which pushed the Dow Industrial Average down 218 points overall and convinced many investors the market had completed a healthy correction, which now presented a good time to take on new positions. That renewed bullish confidence lifted the Dow to a 123-point gain by 10 a.m., while a resurgence in demand for high-tech stocks boosted the Nasdaq Composite by 59.5 points by 10:30 a.m. Buyers began to back away as morning trading progressed, partly because, once again, despite the solid advances in the popular averages, market breadth was flat and then actually turned 18 to 13 negative on the New York Exchange by 1 p.m. when the industrial average saw its gain cut to 19 points, while another earnings warning from IBM prompted some heavy selling in the high-tech issues and sent the Nasdaq index to a 70-point loss. The downward spike attracted fearless buyers from the sidelines for the rest of the day, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average snapped back to post a closing gain of 66.67 points, putting it at 11,134.79. In today's 150-point trading range, the Dow closed down 69 points from the best level of the session, up 80 points from the low of the day. The Nasdaq Composite resumed its upward trek, advancing just over 8 points to a record 3594.17. In its 133-point trading range, the Composite settled 53.5 points below its best level of the day. Big board volume, 1.116 billion shares, well up from yesterday, but down volume exceeded up volume by a 5-to-4 ratio. The Dow Transport Index losing almost 57 points, but the utilities edged up 3/4 of a point. The closing tick still a little bit bearish, minus 305. Standard & Poor's 500 up nearly 4 1/4, just over a 3 1/4 point gain in the 100. Midcap 400 down a little over 4 points, while the Bridge Futures Price Index fell 1.44. New York Stock Exchange Composite gained almost 1 3/4 points, Valley Line losing just over 2.5, and the Russell 2000 small cap off almost 4 points, and yet the broadly based Wilshire 5000 was up nearly 41 points, a real mixed day. After the close, the Federal Reserve reported in the week ending November 29th, the M2 money supply rose $6.7 billion. The bond market displayed a fairly firm tone today, despite very thin trading. For the second straight session, buyers showed a preference for corporate debt over treasuries. There was little reaction to news that import prices climbed a greater than expected 0.5% in November, because holding sway was hope that tomorrow's November producer price index will show inflation is still very well contained. Tax-free and corporates ended mostly unchanged, while the Treasury market closed up small fractions. 5-year notes rising 3/32, the 10-year notes up 2/32, bellwether 30-year bond up 4/32, bringing the yield down to 6.22%, and the Lehman Brothers long-term Treasury bond index gained a little over 1.5 points. I'll be back shortly to show you where the action was on Wall Street today. Susie?
Paul, big news from the Nasdaq today. Its board of directors approved preliminary plans to become a private, for-profit company and to create its own electronic trading network. Chairman Frank Zarb wouldn't release many details of the restructuring, but the board appears to have resolved a dispute with smaller member brokerages over the sale of Nasdaq stock to major companies such as Intel and Microsoft. For its trading network, or ECN, Nasdaq will partner with Primex Trading, already a partnership of major brokerage firms.
It's shaping up to be a record bonus season on Wall Street. More than 5,000 bankers, analysts, and traders are expected to see at least $1 million each for the year. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Lehman Brothers announced bonuses next week. But as Erica Miller reports, the big spending has already begun.
1999 was another great year for Wall Street executives. No store knows that better than Harry Winston. The Fifth Avenue jeweler is a favorite destination around bonus time.
This year, everyone's buying. The senior executives are buying important pieces this year, not just rings, but they're buying important necklaces, important earrings. The young executives are coming here in droves.
Recruiters expect 7-figure bonuses for many of the top financial analysts and investment bankers. Wall Street's total bonus payout is expected to rise by 18% this year, according to the New York City Comptroller.
Wall Street's profits will be very substantial this year, and so we think there'll be a little kick in the bonuses that are paid. It was $11 billion last year, and I'm sort of roughly estimating it could approach $13 billion for the current calendar year.
A good chunk of that $13 billion is expected to come from underwriting fees for stock and bond offerings. Investment banking profits also rose sharply, driven by a record number of corporate mergers. Plus, the stock market has racked up stellar gains, which makes people feel confident about making big-ticket purchases like homes. Real estate expert Barbara Corcoran says business is the best she's seen in 25 years.
Not only is it a lot of people spending a lot of money, but a lot of very, very young people spending a lot of money. It used to be the 30-something person shocked us with the price tag, and now it's young 20s are buying apartments $800,000, $1 million, $1.2 million.
Luxury car dealers are also seeing a surge in business from Wall Street clients.
I think now we're expecting a lot of the bonuses to start hitting, and we should have a really big season for the next 2 months as far as deliveries, and then a lot of orders placed for business down the road in the spring when a lot of people want their cars here in the city.
Top sellers include Porsche Boxsters and 911s, as well as Bentleys. It's not just high-end retailers that are getting dividends from Wall Street's banner year. Even city services are expected to benefit indirectly. Wall Street makes up about 5% of New York City jobs, but 17% of the city's tax revenue. which is used to pay for things like schools and hospitals. Erica Miller, Nightly Business Report, New York.
Wall Street has Linux fever. VA Linux Systems has made its debut on the NASDAQ, and the stock skyrocketed over 730% today. That's the biggest percentage gain ever for an initial public offering. VA Linux priced last night at $30 a share and opened this morning at $299. The company makes computers using the Linux operating system, and Linux, of course, is the free operating system that's posing a first major threat to the Windows operating system.
It's wild and crazy. Sure. VA Linux shares gained about 220 points to close at 250, making it the star of the NASDAQ, Susie. I mean to tell you, it's just unbelievable. But we'll see it in the active list in a moment. The market itself managed to come in on the plus side as far as the averages. Dow up 66 2/3, but once again, overall market lower. For every 12 stocks on the upside, 18 down. 109 new highs for the year versus 444 new lows. Tyco International, as you might expect, topped the active list, traded about 115 million shares, down 8 3/16, and traded as low as 25 on that SEC informal probe of their accounting. Baker Hughes, accounting in problems are not to be tolerated these days. Baker Hughes said an internal audit discovered accounting problems at its Intech unit, and that could cost the company $40 to $50 million. Compaq Computer down 3/4. America Online and that high-tech group up 4 5/16. Silicon Graphics held steady, fifth in volume. IBM down 4 7/16. Now, the company says its fourth quarter earnings will be 15 to 20 cents below last year's $1.24 a share. They said that same thing way back on October 21st, also warned about first quarter earnings in the new year. Philip Morris lost 1 quarter. Disney edging up 5/8. Then AT&T showed no change on the day. And Xerox, 10th in volume, was down 7/8. Boeing gained 1/2 point. The company said it's going to launch about 40 satellites for the European telecom system known as Skybridge. Corning up 5 5/16. The company's going to acquire Optovac, a manufacturer of calcium fluoride optics, for one thing, and also it will supply Nortel with capacity-boosting equipment. Eastman Kodak gained 1/2. The company is increasing its 1999 stock buyback program from $700 million to $900 million. ExxonMobil up 2 1/16, one of the better gainers in the Dow. The oils moved in the opposite direction of oil futures, interestingly enough. Oil futures January down about 40 cents a barrel today. Home Depot, the best point gainer in the Dow, up 4 1/16. The company is expanding its home appliance offerings, and it'll become a more direct competitor to Sears, Best Buy, and City, or I should say Circuit City. And Walmart, the second best gainer in the Dow, up 4 full points. Gleason Corporation, the big percentage gainer, up 5 1/2. A management-led group, and Vestar Capital will take the company private at $23 a share. The company makes gear production machinery. Robertson Seco up 2 1/8. Heiko Company LLC, which is a private firm, is proposing to buy all the shares it doesn't already own at $10 each. Reed International in the publishing business up 4 1/8. There's optimism about the company's internet outlook despite a near-term earnings warning from the firm. NCI Building Systems gained 1 3/8. Fourth quarter earnings came in above expectations, 89 cents, a penny better than expected, and that's up from 73 last year, and sales were up 39%. Wallace Computer Services, one of the big losers, down 4 1/16. Company's first quarter earnings came in lower than expected at 44, 2 cents below the estimate. That's up from 40 cents a year ago, though. But the company said second quarter earnings 47 to 52 versus 45 a year ago. And UICI, which is in the financial services business, down 2 11/16. This company expects fourth quarter operating losses, and that could dampen the prospects for an impending merger with Health Plan Services. NASDAQ trading a record. This is the 50th of the year so far with that 8-point gain. Volume at a record 1.781 billion shares. 17 stocks up for almost every 23 down, however. Amazon.com topped the active list up 15 1/16. And that was helped along by J.P. Morgan Brokerage, which issued a buy. Yahoo rising 20 3/8. Sun Microsystem gained 1 9/16, and Cisco System down 1 5/16. Microsoft gained a point at 92 3/4. Then VA Linux System, that stock went public today at $30 a share. So it's up 700% on the close. At one point, it was trading at $320. Intel was down 1 1/4, and then Corel, which has a connection with the Linux operating system, up almost 11 points, and CMGI up 8 11/16, probably has some Linux-related investments, and MCI WorldCom dropped a point, 10th in volume. Jazztel PLC, this is a Spanish telecom company, and it went public today. 10.1 million American depository receipts were offered at $17.44 each. That stock opened at 47, and the high of the day is 65 5/16. Vertel down, I should say up 5 25 seconds. It's in a supply pact with Telium to provide high-capacity optical switches. And then Papa John's International, the pizzeria chain, down 7 3/8 after the company guided fourth quarter sales estimates lower. The American Exchange Index up 0.08. Franklin Telecom, Linux-related strength on that one, a good percentage move. And finally, On2.com down 5 1/8. That's just pure profit-taking. Had a big run-up in recent sessions. Finally, the index shares all on the plus side today, but just fractionally. That's a Wall Street wrap-up, Susie.
What a wrap-up. Here's another interesting story, Paul. CompUSA, the big computer retailer, had a website, then it changed it, removing the CompUS name. The new site is named Cozone.com, and the strategy is unusual. Most brick-and-mortar stores try to exploit the same brand name when they head to cyberspace. Cozone's Chief Marketing Officer Michael Laskoff explained the move to Scott Gervey at a recent Business Week conference on the digital economy.
CompUSA had a site that once was called CompUSA.com. When we came in, it had an interim name, which was CompUSANet.com. And when we relaunched the site, we relaunched it as Cozone.com.
Why do that? Why give up the CompUSA brand?
A couple of reasons. It's really, as number one, a very separate company, and it's got a very separate proposition in terms of what it is we do. The customers, how we service the customer. Our product selection may very well end up varying.
Is the customer that would shop at Cozone.com different than the customer who would walk into a CompUSA store?
It's quite possibly the same customer, but I think we have an approach that basically says, if you look at, well, let me step back and say, if you look at what our competitors have largely done online, and what's been done online in general is as follows. I have an easy way to list thousands of products. I'm going to put them on the web, and then you, being the generic you, anybody, is invited to come and shop for these products in the way that we've set up for you to do that, which is an online catalog. We said by saying, hey, we're going to focus on the small office, home office segment and the connected family. We were able to say, what do these people really need and what kinds of functionality would actually be helpful?
Can the two companies coexist? One is a brick-and-mortar store and the other strictly online?
Yes. The philosophy that we have is a terrific one, I think, and a lot of credit goes to Jim Halpin, the president of CompUSA, for basically having the courage to do this. And the courage that he had consists of the following statement. If somebody's going to eat my lunch, it's going to be a company that I start and I fund. What CompUSA has done is really said, here are the beneficial things. So there are things like the distribution arrangements that CompUSA has, Cozone takes advantage of. Even though we don't have the same name, we handle pretty much all of the e-commerce for general applications on the web that CompUSA would be engaged in. So if you do a CompUSA search, you find Cozone. So we got all the advantages of the name, of the clout, of the buying power, of the access to product, and we didn't get the particular constraints that CompUSA stores have to deal with. So we're focused on trying to do a great job in our space. They're focused on trying to do a great job in theirs. If at some point in the future closer integration makes sense, I think everybody's excited to explore that, but we live in the here and now, and we're operating in the here and now.
Thank you. Michael Laskoff, Cozone.com.
Tomorrow, our Market Monitor guest is Diego Espinoza, Portfolio Manager of Scudder's Global Equity Fund.
As we've mentioned to you, Nightly Business Report is celebrating 2 decades on the air this year. As part of that observance, each week we look back at business and financial news over the last 20 years. Tonight, news of the week of December 6th through the 12th.
December 8, 1997, Union Bank of Switzerland and Swiss Bank announced a $25 billion merger that would create the world's second-largest bank. It's another deal in a decade that encounters tremendous consolidation in the banking industry, with mega deals like Citicorp Travelers and the Bank America Nations Bank merger. On December 12, 1985, General Electric gets into the television business, acquiring RCA and its NBC TV subsidiary. GE has since expanded its NBC brand into cable with the launching of CNBC and MSNBC, a partnership with Microsoft. With 20 and counting, I'm Linda O'Brien.
Recapping today's market action, the Dow gained 66 points and the NASDAQ index rose 8 to a new record high. And please join us at our worldwide website, NBR.com, or on America Online, keyword NBR.
And finally tonight, a Y2K bug that has nothing to do with computers. It has to do with tombstones. Apparently, a lot of people who bought cemetery headstones in advance didn't figure they'd live this long, so they had the stones engraved with the death dates, starting with 19. Well, if they live 23 more days, those dates will be obsolete. And, Paul, it costs up to $500 to re-engrave a tombstone, and of course I'm dying to find out what you have to say on all of this.
If you're going to spend $500, that's the best $500 you'll ever spend, because the alternative is no fun at all.
That's right. All right. I don't know. I have no comeback for that.
Okay.
That's Nightly Business Report for this Thursday, December 9th, and we want to remind you that this is the time of year that your public television station seeks viewer support.
Support that makes programs like Nightly Business Report possible.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Susie Garib. Good night, everyone. And to you, too, because I'm leaving, I'll be in New York tomorrow night.
But we'll see you. Take care. Have a good trip.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. I'm Paul Kangas, wishing all of you the best of goodbye.
Nightly Business Report is produced in association with Bridge, the global financial information company providing real-time and historical market data, analysis, and news. And is made possible by the financial consultants of A.G. Edwards, committed to making investors comfortable with their investments, with their futures. A.G. Edwards, be comfortable. Franklin Templeton, serving investors for over 50 years. Franklin Templeton and Mutual Series, investment products distributed by investment professionals. Compaq, makers of compact non-stop e-business solutions for companies who know that the online world never stops, so their information systems can't stop either. And by the financial support of viewers like you. Introduce someone to the basics of stocks and mutual funds with the NBR Video Library. Paul Kangas hosts this award-winning set of free videotapes for beginning investors. To order by credit card, call 1-800-535-5864.
Funding for local broadcast of the Nightly Business Report has been provided by viewers like you and by the following. The people of Union Bank of California, for more than 75 years providing Oregonians with banking, trust, and private financial expertise. The companies of CNF Transportation, Emory Worldwide, Conway Transportation Services, and Menlo Logistics. CNF Transportation, where ideas carry weight.
Hi, I'm Kate Peterson from Oregon Public Broadcasting. Would you like to learn how to get a classic black umbrella? How about a great-looking OPB denim shirt? Maybe you're in the mood for a new travel mug or in need of a distinctive gift for a colleague or family member. Stay with us for this brief break and we'll let you know how to get your hands on all those things and more. We're here to offer you an opportunity to join the over 100,000 members of OPB. And to thank you, we're offering those great gifts. Joining is easy. Just call 1-800-551-9911.
Hi, I'm Bill Doobie with OPB. Members are responsible for over half our budget, and they have a big part in deciding what they see here at OPB. All it takes to become a member is a call to the number on your screen and a contribution of $35 or more.
That's right, and we'd like to get you started off in the right way. Pledge $60 and we'll send you the OPB Premier Pack. The Premier Pack includes a year's subscription to Oregon Focus magazine, OPB's programming guide for both radio and TV, and the Member Club card. This handy card is good for discounts and free admissions all over the OPB viewing area. Finally, we add a comfortable navy blue embroidered OPB t-shirt. It's our way of welcoming you to OPB.
OPB memberships make great gifts for friends or business associates. Giving the gift of OPB membership is just as easy as becoming a member yourself. Just call and ask for details. The number is 1-800-551-9911. While you're on the line, sign yourself up as well. If you're already a member of OPB, this might be a good time to check and make sure you're not due for renewal.
OPB's members are OPB's true strength. Over half of our budget comes from member support. Our members are so important. Please do what you can to keep OPB a strong and vital part of life in our special corner of the country. For over 70 years, we've been a voice of reason, and we hope to continue to do so well into the new millennium. But we can't do it without your help.
Consider this. Every dollar you contribute goes to purchasing new programs, producing award-winning local programs like Oregon Field Guide or Oregon's Memorable Century, and to OPB's ongoing quest to be ready for the new millennium. With the advent of digital broadcasting, OPB intends to continue to be a leader in the world of public television. But the federally mandated conversion to a digital signal will require us to replace almost every piece of equipment in our signal chain. We're up for the challenge, but we'll need our members to help. You can help tonight by calling with a generous pledge.
And when you choose to give $75 to aid us in this effort, we'll thank you with your choice, either this OPB stainless steel travel mug or this auto-opening OPB umbrella. If you are already knee-deep in both of these choices, consider a dark blue denim shirt, stunningly embroidered with a brilliant Mount Hood sunrise. It's our gift to you when you pledge $175. All you have to do is call 1-800-551-9911.
Please call right now and give generously so that all your friends and neighbors will continue to have access to first-rate, commercial-free television 24 hours a day. Thanks so much for your support. Now let's get back to the programming.
If you'd prefer to mail in